Hey everybody, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. I'm Jesse, and today we're going to keep working on our brain computer app. We have all of our phase 1 functionality working, but it doesn't look very good, so we need to style it a little bit. Just make it look a little bit nicer. It doesn't have to be like amazing, right? But we want it to look a little bit better. And if we get through that today, then we're going to do whatever else we need to do to get it ready to actually go to the Google Play Store. We're going to launch this first as an Android app, later on iOS. I happen to have an Android phone, so that's why I'm doing Android first. And I'm on a PC. I do have a Mac that I can use to launch this as an iOS app as well, but it's not as good for streaming. So we're going to try this first as an Android app. Since the last time we streamed, I did install Android Studio, so we can simulate the Android app. Right now, I'm just going to stay in the web mode because it's easier to work with when we're styling. But at some point when we need to, we can also check out the simulator in Android Studio. Okay. So I see there's a lot of you here, and a lot of you have been waiting for a long time. I noticed a few of you are in time zones to where it's like, I don't know, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., something like that. I apologize for that. I used to be able to stream earlier in the day to accommodate time zones, especially the time zones like if you're in India or time zones in that area. But unfortunately, I have to work during that time period now, so it's kind of hard for me to accommodate. I guess if I waited till even later, like towards nighttime here in my time zone, it would be maybe morning. There's just not really a time that I can stream that would accommodate all time zones. So let me know if this is a very awkward time for you, and I'll keep that in mind. But I guess probably the best thing for me to do maybe is just try to do different times when I can, so that you can always watch the recording, but maybe sometimes you can catch it live if I switch up the times. One other thing I wanted to tell you all before we get started with the code, you may have noticed that part 2 is no longer available. So this is part 4 of a streaming series. Part 2 is not available. So after trying to figure out what happened to part 2, my best guess as to what happened is that I accidentally deleted it. So I'm very sorry about that. I don't really remember deleting it for sure, but what I do remember is that before the last stream, like right before the last stream, I was trying to set the stream up, and I accidentally created the stream with basically like no scheduled start time, which means the stream would be scheduled to start immediately. And then I quickly realized my mistake and started a new stream, tried to start a new stream with the same name that would have the correct start time. And I wanted to quit that old stream, basically delete the old stream so that I wouldn't confuse people who were thinking that it would start immediately. And what I think happened is that I thought I was deleting that stream that should have never been created, but in reality I maybe deleted the wrong stream and I deleted the second one. That's what I think happened, the reason I think that is because after I finished that stream, which is stream 3, I went back and saw that the duplicate of stream 3 was still there, and it had never been deleted. And so I'm thinking maybe that's what happened. I tried to contact YouTube through the feedback, like their feedback modal on like Creator Studio is like the YouTube kind of like admin panel for creators. I tried sending a message there. I don't really know if they'll get around. I don't know if they even would recreate that video. I know it's possible. I've read online that it happens sometimes that they will recreate the video, but I'm not 100% sure. Like freeCodeCamp doesn't monetize, so I don't know how Google would view that if it would. I've heard that they do it for large channels. This is kind of a large channel, but I don't know. So we'll see. I'm kind of expecting that video will never come back. So I really apologize for that. I mean, I tried to read everything I could and do whatever I could to try to get it back, but I think it's out of my hands at this time. So anyway, that's what happened to number 2. I did have a few people ask about it, so I figured I'd just let everybody know. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. And like I said, we're gonna do some styling. We may also add in, maybe clean up the code a little bit if I notice somewhere where we could clean it up. It's still very simple though. We've managed to do everything all in one file. But we do have some places where, for instance, we still have some commented out code. This if statement is kind of pointless, right, since we're not doing anything else. So a few places where we could clean things up. I'd rather not ship unnecessary code if I don't have to. So we'll be on the lookout for that. But for now, we want to do some styling, which we basically did, very, very little styling, up to this point. I don't even know if we have an object for styles. No, we don't. Okay, let's do that first. Let's make that. So in React Native, let me set my timer as well. So I'm going to set a timer for 25 minutes, and I'll do code for 25 minutes, and then when the timer goes off, I'll go back to the live chat. I'll answer some questions, as many as I can get to in a 5-minute time period, and then we'll do a little bit more code. All right, so, okay, we did import style sheets, so maybe we have it somewhere, I just don't know. Where are we using style sheets? There we go. Just kind of mixed in there with everything else. So when you're doing React Native, it's a good idea to use this style sheet.create and to put your styles in here. It helps, as far as I know, with what React Native does behind the scenes. It helps with performance. So let's move our styles into our style sheet.create object, and then we'll go from there. So that'll clean things up a little bit, get our styles all in the same spot. So if I take this, so this would be our inputs. It looks like all our inputs have the same styling. So I should be able to select all of them. Yep. And let's get rid of them, and let's say style equals styles dot input. And then up here in our style object, let's create a key called input. Whoa, did not mean for that to happen. All right. Input, and then let's paste. Whoops. I wondered if that was gonna happen since I cut all of them. But let's paste our styles into here. Okay, now what we should get is our, and let's log out so we can actually see this. Let's see if it'll, there we go. So see, these now have the same styles, and we cleaned up a decent amount of code here because we just moved this into styles. This works just like a normal style sheet with a few differences. So a normal style sheet uses CSS syntax, right? This is JavaScript object syntax. So you notice we don't have hyphenated properties here. They're camel case. So if you take your normal CSS properties and camel case them, then they'll work. And also we have no values in React Native. So there's no pixels at the end. It's just straight numbers. Okay, anything else is a string. We can also throw JavaScript in here, which is a pretty cool feature. Okay. And then by default, everything is in Flexbox in React Native. And the flex direction by default is column, whereas normally on the web, the default flex direction is row. Those are the main differences. Now, React Native uses a subset of CSS which means that you can't use all of what's available in CSS in React Native, but most of it's still available. So if you try to do something that's not available, you'll get a message in in your browser, depending on what you're using, whether a browser or an emulator or testing on a device. At some point, you'll get some warning to say that this one doesn't work. At the very least, you'll see on the screen that it doesn't work, right? So for now, I think everything we're trying to do will definitely work. Okay, so let's look through the rest of our app just to make sure we didn't miss anything. No, we didn't miss anything. So right now, let's add some styling to our links here, or I'm sorry, our inputs here. The inputs are really close together, which looks kind of weird. So let's add a little space between these. So I'm gonna add let's add some margin, and I'm gonna do margin vertical. This is a little different. You don't see this too often in CSS, but in React Native with our style sheet, we can say margin vertical, and let's just give it an 8 and see how that looks. Now what this will do is margin vertical will add a margin on the top and the bottom at the same time. So we end up with, in between inputs here, we end up with actually 16 pixels or 16 units, right, of margin. And then at the bottom here, we have 8. So I don't sorry if it there's a little bit of a delay on the stream. My computer's been doing this weird thing lately where every once in a while, like, I can hear my music like slows down, and if I'm recording a video or streaming, it just like stops for a second or two. I haven't been able to figure out what's doing it yet. Hopefully I can just maybe try a restart and that'll fix the problem. All right, so I don't really like that much padding, and to be honest with you, let's give this a little mobile view here. So let's try to imitate a mobile view and see if we can get a. Right now it's showing this. I wonder. Device type. All right, cool. So we can kind of see, how this would look on a mobile device. It actually looks super small. I think we can definitely make this stuff bigger. Wonder why did it look so small? Did we have it on? Oh, because I had it zoomed in a lot. That's why. So I'm definitely gonna take the zoom off of that, at least on the desktop or the web version. Oh no, and my timer stopped. That's interesting. I wonder if my stream freezing and my timer stopping have anything to do with each other. I guess I'll have to keep an eye on the clock now. At about 5:30 Eastern time, or about a half hour into the stream, I'm gonna take a break and go to the chat. All right, so let's make these a little bit bigger. Well, let's make the text bigger as well, which I don't think we have any styles on the text. So let's make style equals, and let's say les styles dot. Whoops. Heading. I've been typing on a different keyboard all day for work, so now I'm keep mistyping everything. So we're gonna do, for our text, we're gonna have the styles dot heading. Oops, nope. And let's give this a font size of, I don't know, let's say 24. Let's just see how that looks. All right, a little bit bigger, not too bad. And I kind of, I want this to be kind of stand out a little bit more. So let's do margin bottom. We'll give this a 16 for margin bottom. Whoops, forgot my comma. See what that looks like. Okay, a little bit better. All right, not bad. And actually, with more space there, the spacing on these inputs doesn't look quite as bad. Also, our inputs are, I think they could definitely be wider. Like right now, you can't even see all the content. I wonder what would happen if we just comment out the width. Would it go full width? Okay. It looks like maybe it's defaulting to some sort of preset width. I guess I'm okay with that. To be honest with you, though, I mean, I think we could go. Like, there's quite a bit of white space here. We may want to, go a little bit wider, especially because the device ID is so large. There may not really be a way to fit it in there, but yeah, actually, if we went just a little bit wider, I think it would work. So let's figure out why it's getting this width. And we don't need much space for the preview, right? And I'm gonna look over here. I'm gonna make this just a bit smaller. Sorry if it makes it harder to see, but I want to see what kind of styles we're getting here. And if we go over to computed, so if we look here and inspect the input, right? So we're on the input, and if we go to computed, we could scroll down. It's in alphabetical order, and we can go to width and see, like, all right, actually, when it's grayed out like this doesn't mean that there. Sorry, I want to make sure you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. I was afraid my face was covering it up. When it's grayed out like this, it means that there's no width directly applied to that. So I'm guessing that this is just taking up the full space of its container. So let's check the container. Maybe not. So where? That's interesting. Maybe we'll get lucky and just find it in here. I'm not sure. It's just it's an odd number to default to, right? What was it defaulting to? 152? Yeah, so that is odd. And we can see there's not really, it's not like the container is forcing it to be there. This is the container, right? So the container is much bigger. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can do some flexbox stuff here. So if we do flex 1 should stretch this out. I was afraid it would do that. So flex, it stretched it out the wrong way. Probably because we have it set flex direction row. That's why. Alright, let's get rid of the flex. Alright. Let's see. Alright, YouTube's telling me that the stream is not getting enough data. Let me check my connection. That's weird. Connection seems all right. Let me know if anybody's having trouble seeing this. I'm gonna all right, yeah, connection looks good. Maybe in about 5 minutes, I'm going to answer some questions. So if you're in the chat right now asking questions and stuff, hang in there for about 5 more minutes, and we'll answer some questions here. Let's see. I don't remember if you can do this in React Native 100%. I'm pretty sure it's not going to give us what we want, but it's worth a shot. Hey, it worked. Now, it works now on the web. I'm not 100% sure it would work on mobile, but that definitely made things larger, and I don't want it. I don't want it to be that big. So what we can do, though, is we can say width 100, but then we can also set a max width, and we could see, like, you know, what would we really want it to be? Like, how wide is it right now? $318. What if we said, you know, we really never want it to be more than, I don't know, 280. Let's just see 280, see how it looks. Okay. We could probably go a little bit smaller since we have our device ID there. Let's see if we can get away with like 260. Okay. 260. That gives us enough space for our number. Now, the reason that these little icons are showing up is because I have LastPass, and so it's showing up there. These won't normally show up unless somebody had LastPass. But in case they do, we'll have a little space for them. Okay. So we got enough space for the device ID and certainly enough space for the email, and password doesn't matter because, you know, it doesn't really show up anyway. And let's see. Oops. I really don't like that these are right up next to the edge of this. So I wonder if we could do something about that. Let's see if there is. Let's go to our documentation for our text input and see if there's some way to get a little bit of padding in between this. Maybe we could. Let's just see if padding will work. That's worth a shot, and then we won't have to go to the documentation. Let's just say padding horizontal, and let's give it a 4 for padding horizontal and see what it does. Cool. All right, that gave us a little bit of padding. Okay. Awesome. All right, so that works. It's looking a little bit better. This button says press me. That's not what we wanted to say. So let's change what the button says. So what do we want it to say? Maybe submit. See how that looks. Submit looks good. Also, you know, maybe we could do something with the way the button looks. And I think there's probably some built-in styling options for this button. So we definitely could look that up. So let's check out React Native button. And let's see this reference here. Oh, cool. We have accessibility label. We should probably add that. accessibility label, and this takes a string, and we could just say submit. I think that's pretty straightforward. What submit would mean. Okay, we could color the colors for the color of the text in iOS or the background color in Android. I'm not gonna worry about that now. I'll just leave it as the default. I mean, just for otherwise, I'm gonna take a long time to figure out what color I want it to be. So I don't want to do that. We're not working on end-to-end tests yet, so I'm gonna leave the test ID out. And let's see what else we have. Okay, it looks like there's nothing else built in terms of styling. Just let's see. It's not going to show us. I was hoping we could get a preview of what it would look on different devices, but it doesn't show. All right, so what we can do is add style on here. So and this will be the last thing we do before I go to the questions. Our styles.button, and we have another button actually. So let's make sure we add this button. And why is it saying style? Can we not give a style to this button? Maybe we can't. Maybe that's it. Maybe we're stuck with this style, which is fine. I want to keep this very simple, and for the first release, you can always add in better styles, later on. All right, so here we go. So we have our inputs and our submit button. Slightly better look to it, a little bit more space here. And now let me go to the chat. I'll set a timer here, and this timer that I've been using, it's the tomatotimer.com. It's been just stopping out of nowhere the last couple of days. I might switch it up and go back. I used to have a different timer that I used, but I forgot the URL for it, but may have to switch it up. All right, so I'm gonna try to answer as many questions as I can. If I accidentally skip your question, just like ask it again or put it down in the comments, and I'll try to get to it. Right, so I have some questions. A few people asking, what is a brain-computer app? So a brain-computer app is just an app that reads your brainwaves. Well, I should say this. It's a device. It's a combination of a device and an app. So this is the device I'm using. It is called the Notion brain computer. It's built by a company called Neurosity. It's a startup company, and inside of this is the same tech you'd find in a cell phone or like an Internet of Things device. You put it on your head, it reads your brain waves, and then you can send those brain waves to wherever you want. In this case, we're sending it to our app. And for this app, we're keeping it very simple, and we're just tracking the level of focus. I believe it's the gamma waves in your brain give you a good indication of how focused you are. So we're tracking the level of focus, and if the focus drops below a certain level, we're changing the color of the screen, and we're making the device vibrate. And so that's what a brain computer app is for this project. I hope to do some projects in the future where we do other things with the data coming out of the brain, but this is kind of a proof of concept just to show that we can reliably get data to a mobile device through a React Native app. I'm using React Native and Expo. So this is kind of phase one, project one of working with brainwaves and React Native. Alex asked if this is going to be posted on the channel after the live stream ends. Yes, it will, and I will not delete it this time. Let's see. Rudra asks, what is a variable in programming? A variable is a little piece of data, right, that you can assign. Well, it's something that you can assign data to. Okay. So let me give you I gotta have a variable in here somewhere, right? Here we go. So we have const notion is a type of variable called a constant. That means that we can't change it after we assign it a value. And we've named your variable notion. And that notion holds the value of a new notion that we've instantiated with a particular device ID. All right. So a variable could be a lot of different kinds of data. Could be just a string, which would be like a word, or a number, right? It could be an object. It could be an array. So a variable could be a lot of different things, but at its most basic thing, it's just something that you use to hold a value. Hey, everybody. Everybody's saying hello from different parts of the world. How's it going? Arnav asks what my time zone is. I am in Eastern Standard Time, so it's the East Coast of the United States is my time zone. So same time zone as New York City. That's probably the biggest city, I think, in this time zone. Let's see. My Tommy says, did you really delete it? Unfortunately, I really did delete the second part of this stream, the second part of this series. So, very upset about that. Like, I was honestly, like, I felt sick when I realized what had happened. So, I mean, there's still some small hope that somebody on YouTube will get my feedback message and have mercy on my mistake and bring the video back up. But I just, from what I read online, I don't think they do that. I think at some point in the past they used to do that kind of thing, but I don't think they do it anymore. So, we'll see. All right. All right, so I'm just looking through trying to find questions. Just still a lot of people saying hello. So, all right. Someone says hello from Brazil. Hey, how's it going? Pranav says, how much money can we earn in React Native? Depends on where you get a job from. Here in the United States, a React Native developer could most certainly get a job making over $100,000 a year. It's definitely not uncommon for that to happen. Different parts of the world are obviously very different, and different companies pay differently, but it's certainly possible to make that much. Which, unless you're in like a very big city, that's an excellent salary. Like from where I'm from, there's not very many people that make that much money. So React Native can make you a lot of money. I was born in one of the poorest states in the United States, which the United States is a pretty wealthy country. So I guess it's not super poor, but it's just I don't really know that many people that made that much money when I was growing up. All right, awesome. I actually got through most of the questions, so we'll go back and do some more code. Another question just came in right when I said that, and it was React Native versus Flutter. Who wins in your opinion? I really can't comment on that because I haven't actually built anything with Flutter, so I feel like I'm not in a good place to comment. I really like React Native. It can do a lot of things. I've heard good things about Flutter, but like I said, I can't. I think you could build awesome things with React Native or Flutter. Obviously, if I had to choose something to build a project with right now, I'd choose React Native because that's what I use every day, and I know it. But if I didn't know either one, I would definitely take a look at Flutter and see. Maybe I would use it. All right, so let's go back. I'm gonna try setting my timer again, see if it works this time. And let's go back in here, and I want to submit and see what our styling looks like once we're like logged in the logged in view. And also, I don't want to forget, so I'm going to tell you all right now so you can remind me. The red flash, so we put in a style where like the screen would flash red if your focus got below a certain level. That when you first start up the app, that red is like the default color. So we don't want that to happen. So I think I'd like to try to get rid of that as the default color. So we'll take a look at our styles and see how we can do that. But otherwise, let's log in. And let's see, let me grab my password. Cool. All right, so one thing I'm seeing here is the focus text is quite small, and it's very close to this logout button. So I think what I'd like to do here is make this text a bit bigger and add a little space here between focus and logout. And that's probably about it in terms of styling, right? So I said it's not going to look very, like really pretty, but I want it to look like it's not broken or anything like that. And let's see. Where's our style? I keep losing my styles object. Well, I guess we want to put a separate style on our focus text. So, because I don't want it to be quite as big as the heading. So, style equals, and I'm just going to call it focus text. Probably not the best name, especially if we reuse this style. If we end up reusing it, we'll rename it to something a little bit more generic. But for now, I think that'll work. So let's say focus text, and let's make the font size, let's give it 18. Okay, that'll be nice and big for readability, but then also definitely like noticeably smaller than the heading. And then let's give it let's say 8 pixels on the bottom between the button and the focus text. So we're going to do a margin bottom of 8. I keep saying pixels, but when I say pixels out of habit, but I really just mean like units, right? Whatever that translates to on a particular device. Okay. All right, that's better. A little bit of separation there. We can see what the focus is. And yeah, let's see. That looks good. The only other thing I want to do is, what do you think about this focus? Right now the focus is a number between 0 and 1. Do you think it would be easier for the user if they saw that as a percentage? So instead of 0.23, if they saw 23%, do you think that would be easier? Let me know what you all think in the chat. It wouldn't be too hard to make that display as a percentage. And then it might be a little bit more obvious to say like, oh, I'm 100% focused, or I'm only 20% focused. Yeah, let me know what you think. Looks like I got one yes for that. And Okay. Okay, we got a couple of yeses. Cool. Let's do it. All right. So right now we are showing the focus here is just the raw data of focus. But what we could do is we could say like focus, and we could multiply that by 100, and then we can add in a percentage sign, and let's see how that looks. Cool. 23%. See? Not too hard. I don't know why 23 keeps coming up as the default. I have no idea. Maybe that's just the baseline that comes through. Maybe that's the last value that came through before I turned my device off last time. I don't know. Cool. Now you notice we still are seeing that flash of red every time we restart. So let's look at our styles and see how we have that set up. So it looks like we're saying the background color. We're saying if the focus is less than 0.2 or 20%, and we have a user, then display red, otherwise display white. Now, I don't know if this will work, but it's possible that if we just switch these around, maybe it would read the white first. And we should be able to do that if we just say if the focus is greater, we'll just flip around these values. Greater than 0.2, and we don't have a user. Then let's display white, otherwise red. I don't know if this is going to solve our problem, but if there's some sort of solution that might work and is very easy to try, I'm always up for trying it. And no, that did not work at all. That is in fact the opposite of what we wanted. How did I get the opposite? Let's see. And let's see. Sorry, somebody's trying to say not nice stuff, so just gonna hide the messages. Okay. All right. So that definitely didn't work. And let's see. I'm gonna look. So we got somebody else is spamming a lot of messages. So there we go. All right, that'll clean up the chat a little bit. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, what the heck did I do here? Well, let's just go back, because that's not what we wanted. There we go. There we go. All right. So that's better. Oh, let me see. I'm going to check the chat as well to see if any of you realize what my mistake was. Let's see. AJ says, "Hey AJ, how's it going?" AJ is one of the co-founders of Neurosity, and who made this this device. So the Notion headset. AJ says last value. Is that what I don't know if he was referring to what I was doing here or commenting on somebody else. Okay. All right. Let me think for a second on how we could make that work. I'd rather try to avoid the flash of red if we could, but it's not like a absolutely have to have. Let's see. So actually, if I reverse these colors and we get a flash, of white, maybe it would be. Oh, now I know why I did that. Right, because I said if we do it and we don't have a user. Now I confuse myself. All right. Let's go back to what I did before. So I know for sure I want focus. If focus is greater than 0.2, I want it to be white, for sure. What do I do? There we go. Focus is greater than 0.2. I want it to be white. Let's get rid of this for a second. Right. And could we switch it? Yeah, let's switch this. So focus is greater than 0.2, I want it to be white, and then if user red. All right, this is a slightly more complicated thing, but let's see if it works. We still got the flash. Let's see if it'll happen if I save again. Will this happen? Oops. If we save here. All right, actually didn't happen. Let me actually change something and then we'll save. All right, we're still getting that flash of red. So I guess it doesn't matter. Now what this does is I just kind of split it up and added two turn areas. So it's saying like if the focus is greater than 0.2, then we just make it white. But if it's not, then we go to the right side of our turn area, and then we check and see, is there a user? If there is no user, then we do nothing, which would make the default color, I guess nothing. It would be whatever the default normally is, which I'm assuming is just white. Or it'd be red. I wonder if we even need to add white. Like, what's our default without it? Let's save that. All right, cool. Yeah, so we don't really even need white. So I'm thinking we could get rid of the white altogether because we don't need it. And instead, we could do these ands. We'll switch the focus back to if focus is less than 2. All right, and we're still getting our flash of red that I don't want, but we're able to get rid of our white. We don't need it. Let's see what we do have. What we could try to do instead is, let's try this out. Well, first I'm going to look at the chat and see if anybody has an idea. Alright, looks like no. But here's what I'm thinking. And y'all can let me know what you think about this idea. What if we take out all of this logic from here, and instead, in this use effect, which we're already using to turn on and off the vibration, we use this to change the color. And we can set the color as part of state. I don't know. I think it's worth a try. In which case, let's go up here. If we get any more state, we might have to clean this up a little bit. But for now, I think this will be fine. And we can, yeah, let's clean this up here. And let's say, let's say BG color. Set background color, and we're going to go use state, and the default background color is going to be white, FFF. And let's see, let's use some TypeScript stuff here. I think we can say, I'm using TypeScript, but as somebody pointed out to me in the comments, it's a TypeScript project, but I'm not actually using types. So let's see if we can use types here. So what this is doing, let's see if it actually is doing this. Yep. So right now we're basically using TypeScript to say it can only be white or red. We could add more if we wanted, but for right now this can only be white or red. And it's going to give us some cool autocomplete stuff, which let's check it out down here. So we can set the background set BG color, and oops, now we're going to say we can either do white or red. Those are our options. So let's throw in the option of red, and then we got to set it back the other way, right? So if we are focused, if we regain a certain level of focus, let's reset this to white. Cool. Now down here, we can just set our background color to BG color. So if this works, let's see if it works first. If it does, I think I kind of like that better, because all the actions that happen in terms of a shift in focus are all located in one place. And then we keep logic out of our styles. So it looks a little bit cleaner. And I totally forgot to look to see if this even changed, if it did anything. Let's see. Sweet. We got rid of that flash. Now we just have to see, like, did it actually work? So I'm going to turn on the headset. And I gotta give it a second to turn on and connect. Right, it's starting up. It takes just a couple seconds to start up. Once it starts up, I'm gonna put it on and see if we can get that focus down lower. Actually, if it's stuck at 23, we can probably change it. Let's cheat and just change it right here. Hey, cool. So we get red, and if this was a mobile device, it would be vibrating. Now let's switch it back, and we get white. Cool. So now the color is set. All right, and then the Notion is it's starting up So I can see on my other screen, I've got a dashboard up. It's starting the operating system on the headset, so it should be starting pretty soon. And there's a lot going on in the chat, so I'm gonna get back to that in a few minutes here. Where am I at? Yeah, about 5 minutes. I'm gonna get back to the chat. All right, that's cool. Let's clean this up a little bit. So if user set user else, let's get rid of this else since we're not doing anything there. And let's see if, I think that was the only spot where we had unused code. All right, cool. So we are connected now. I'll put this on for a little bit so we can get some real data. Okay, cool. So we should be getting real data here. I've got an OK signal coming in. Oh, goodness. All right. I just noticed something. I don't know if you caught that on the screen, but we got a ton of decimal places out here. So I don't want all those decimal places. So let's make sure that we don't have that. And actually, that was kind of weird that even came on the screen, because we do have this toFixed 2. That's odd. So set focus. The number we're putting into focus is actually already with toFixed. So yeah, it came up again. Very weird. Which I kind of don't want to show a bunch of decimal places anyway. So let's just go ahead and add. Where are we at? This focus, let's go dot toFixed. You know, maybe when we're multiplying, it's messing it up. And let's just see, can we do toFixed 0? Or is that gonna mess it up? Number dot toFixed. Returns a string representing a number. Interesting. Let's see if we can. Oops, not on the end. Put that in the wrong spot. There we go. toFixed. See if that works. All right, now we may or may not see that number pop up, but I'm thinking that since we're doing this after any calculation takes place, then we'll actually get toFixed 0, which means we will have no decimal places. Okay. So that was cool. I'm glad I put the headset on to see that particular bug. The auto formatting on that is a little weird, but cool. All right, so I only got like another minute before I wanted to stop and go back to the channel. What I wanted to do next, if I had time, was start to get this ready to go to the App Store. So what I'm going to do is just kind of go through what we need. So let's go to Expo. And let's see, get started. preview project. Documentation, that's what I want. So I'm using Expo to help us build this React Native app. So they have documentation for, let's see, picking image. So some of the stuff that we haven't done yet is like the splash screen. So it's just something that'll show up in the app, and so we could add this into our app, an app icon. So we got to think about what we want to do for the app icon. I'm not really any good with any type of like photo or image editing stuff, so I'll probably just find something online that like automatically creates all the icon sizes that we need. That'll be let's see, walkthroughs. I know there was some documentation that talked about actually releasing stuff to the App Store. I don't know where it went. There we go. Publish your app. So publish. All right. So there's a couple options we could do with publish. We could publish through Expo, or could publish like on my own server. So I haven't decided what I want to do. So that would be the first step, and then we would actually deploy. So I'm gonna skip the Apple Store for now, and we're gonna go to Android in the Google Play Store, and this is the next step of what we need to do. So we basically are gonna run an Expo command, and it's going to bundle everything for us. So we just need to make sure that we have our app.json file sorted out, and it has the right info in there. And then I already have an account for the Google Play Store. So we should submit it, like if we get the bundle, right, then we can submit it. And it says we can do it manually. And then we can actually just upload it straight from the command line, which is pretty sweet once we do it manually the first time. And I'll try to do as much as possible with this on a live stream. I don't know if I'll do it today because I've been streaming already for over an hour. But the next stream, this is what we're going to be working on. I don't know how long it'll take to get approved, but I'll let everybody know once it gets approved. But basically, these are the next steps that we're going to do. And really, I think the hardest part at this point is just making sure that our app.json is looking good and figuring out what I want my app icon to be, because I really have no idea. But I'll show you right now what our app.json looks like. So right now, it's just whatever was the default, which it takes the name from like the name I put in when I started the project, right? So I believe the icon is like the default Expo icon, and the same way with the splash. So we can see like this icon is just the default that comes with the project. It's blank. Same thing with the splash. Rather not have nothing there, but at least like there's something there, right? It wouldn't throw an error saying it's nothing there. So yeah, that's about it. Not much else left to do to actually deploy this. So now, having said that, the only people that are really going to be able to use this are anybody that has one of these headsets. I mean, anybody could download it, but they're not going to be able to get the brain data, right? So it'll be a very, very limited audience. And after that, there's other features I'd like to add to this, and I'd like to have it a web version and an iOS version. So those are the next steps. For now, I'm going to go back to the chat and answer the rest of the questions. And let's see. I guess I'm going to keep tracking my focus here while I answer questions. let's see. I'm gonna figure out where I left off at. Let's see. Finding You says, can you tell me the prerequisite of this course? I don't really know like what the prerequisites would be. Like, it would definitely help if you know a little bit about React Native. I guess other than that, you don't really need to know much in terms of like the brain-computer interface. Like, it has a JavaScript API, so you don't need to know a lot about the internal workings of what's happening. Let's see. A good question that says, do you have a cat? I do not have a cat. No, I don't. I have 4 children and no cat. The only pets that I have right now are 2 goldfish. They're behind me. So there's a lot going on in the chat, but not a lot of questions. So I'm trying to find the questions. All right, so there's some questions and comments based on the that red screen that kept coming up when we didn't want it to. So thank you for all the advice on there. Amina, so what's the app's purpose? The purpose is to let the user know when their focus is dropped below a certain level. It's crazy. You can see how much, like, trying to go through the questions and like move back and forth lowers my focus. Normally, if I'm just coding, my focus is a lot higher than this, like more consistently. But trying to talk and read the chat really, like, I guess, like, diverts my attention. There's a ton of comments about hacking in here. I don't know how we got on the topic of hacking in here, but I just keep scrolling and it's all this talk of hacking. I'm trying to sift through all this chat to find any questions. All right, here's a question: are you using C#? I'm not using C# in this application. No. This is all JavaScript. Well, TypeScript technically, and so it's TypeScript. Which actually, I just recorded a TypeScript tutorial video last night. I think I'm going to put it on my YouTube channel tomorrow. So maybe tomorrow morning or some point tomorrow. And so if you're interested in learning more about TypeScript, check that out. Yesterday, I released a video about documentation for JavaScript. And it's not that long. I think it's like less than 15 minutes or 20 minutes or so. But if you're interested in that, check out my YouTube channel. The link's in the description of this video. And the TypeScript one, I think the TypeScript one will be pretty helpful. I was thinking about re-recording it because I made it when I was tired and I look really tired and I keep saying and a lot. So if I don't re-record it and I just release it, which I might just release it because I don't have a lot of time and I really don't want to spend a ton of time going over the videos, because then I have less time for my family, and I just overall put out less content. But I recommend watching it at double speed, because then it's not quite so annoying that I say and I'm going to try to work on that more. Maybe I just need to not record videos when I'm really tired, because I tend to do it more when I'm tired. But that video will come out, whether re-recorded or in its current state. It'll come out tomorrow on my YouTube channel, and I actually think it'll be pretty helpful based on what would have been helpful to me when I started with TypeScript. I tried to make the video in a way that I would have found helpful. So if anybody's interested, check it out. Amin says, "What's the machine you are using?" I'm using a PC, so it's I don't even know what brand PC it is, but it's like Windows 10 PC. And where did I get it from? I don't remember. I don't think I got it from Amazon. I think I got it from like Newegg or Tiger Direct or something like that. Oh, okay. Clarified. I think meant to say like what device, as in like this headset device. So this is the Neurosity Notion headset, and in the description I spell it out too as well, so you can check it out. But this is a brain computer. It is a brain computer or brain computer interface, and inside of it are the same parts you'd find inside your cell phone, and it can connect to Wi-Fi, and it takes all your data from your brain and then provides a JavaScript API so that you can link it up to your app or your website or whatever you want to link it up to. Amin also asked, how much does it cost? I'm not sure what the cost is right now, because I think they're working on another model. This is just kind of like a testing device. This is I don't know what you want to call it, but this is like the first version just for developers to work on, and it was $1,000. I don't know what the price is currently or what it will be when they start making more of these. Kevin says, configuring a splash screen in React Native is as dangerous as eating the hottest pepper in the world. Well, I hope I can do it. Sergey says, in 2004, I created a calculator in BASIC. I thought I'd become a superstar in the programming world, but I only got older and I still make calculators. Actually, in 2004, I made a calculator in C++. And then I didn't code for a long time after that. But I do remember, I don't really remember anything else that I coded in that class, but I remember a calculator. Kevin says, is Python or Java better? I don't really know in terms of better. It depends on the application. It seems like Python has way more momentum right now. Whoa, somebody's spamming the channel. Let's should we keep saying, should we make app using Python? Let me get rid of let me hide these messages. Yeah, please don't spam the channel. The question is that was being spammed by at least 2 people that I see, is maybe 3 people, was, should we make an app using Python? And yeah, if you want to, that's it's entirely up to you. Python's a good language, so if you feel like that would be good, then go ahead with it. someone asked if they could be moderator, and I would mute people who are spamming. I was actually just thinking that it might be good to have a moderator. It seems like the last few streams we've had more people spamming than normal. So I'm gonna think about it. Thank you for offering. I'm gonna see if the next stream is this bad with spam again, then I think we'll definitely need to have a moderator, because it makes it really hard for everybody and for me to read the chat. And there's no need to spam. I get to the questions eventually. All right, let's see. I can't pronounce this name, but it says, can you learn a language in 2 weeks? I don't know. I mean, if you already knew a few programming languages, then maybe you could learn enough about another one to code. But if you were starting from scratch and you had no idea how to code, then I don't know that you could really learn a coding language in 2 weeks. Amin says, why did you start YouTube? I started doing YouTube because I wanted to share my work. I was working at a university, and I wanted to share my work with some of the computer science students there and see if they'd be interested in helping out with some of the work. And I ended up getting a larger audience outside of the university and started catering my streaming towards them. And then Bo Carnes from Free Code Camp saw my live stream and invited me to stream on the Free Code Camp channel, and so that's why I got started. And basically, I keep doing it because I just hope that my streams would be helpful to someone else. And so I don't get any money from this. This is all volunteer. Even on my own YouTube channel, I don't monetize. If I at some point in the future, like maybe I'd think about monetizing. Like if I really wanted to produce a ton of content and do it as kind of like a part-time job, I would think about it. But for now, it's all just volunteer, and I like sharing information and helping people learn. Inside Out says, can you measure pre and post stimulant using this app for scientific proof? Actually, that's kind of interesting. I had never thought about doing that before, but that would be kind of cool to measure your level of focus at doing a certain task depending on what stimulants you would take, like to see maybe if you had a lot of caffeine, does that help your focus or does it hurt your focus? That would be kind of cool to do. So I would imagine, you could probably get some good data on that. You'd have to really make sure that you controlled all the other variables like noise and like time of day, level of sleep. Like there'd be a lot of other variables that could kind of mess it up, but if you did it consistently, then I think it could be that would be kind of a cool experiment. Amin asks, my inspiration, my favorite go-to resources. Yeah, my inspiration for coding is like I just like coding, and I love like when I hear that a video that I've done has helped somebody, like that's inspiration, right? I'm not gonna lie. At first, my inspiration to get into coding was I had a couple of kids and a wife, and I needed to pay the bills, and this was a way to make money. I mean, I did like to do it, but it was definitely like it was how I could get a good job to be able to provide for my family. But now, like in terms of keeping going with the YouTube stuff, is whenever it helps somebody, that's provides me with more inspiration to actually do more content. I know there's probably a lot of noise. There's my kids playing upstairs, so I'm gonna try to end the live stream here in a couple minutes so I can go hang out with my kids before it's time for them to go to bed. And I think there's a part 2 to that question. Oh, your favorite go-to resources? When I was starting out, I used freeCodeCamp a lot and did a lot of YouTube videos and stuff, like watched a lot of YouTube videos. Now, though, I'd say like my favorite resources are just the documentation for what I'm using and Stack Overflow and Mozilla Developer Network, MDN. I have a question. How many programming languages do you know / understand? I mainly code in JavaScript and TypeScript. I can understand coding in C#, and I've worked with in the past Java, C#, Python, C++. I think what else? C. Like, it's been so long since I've used those languages, I don't really know if I could jump in and code anything in them right now. But I could probably look at like a simple application and tell what was going on. But I wouldn't. I don't know that I would say that like I know them, But if I had to use them and had a little bit of time to get kind of like get acquainted with them again, I could probably code something. Amin says, do you already have a job? Yes, I do. I have a job. I'm a senior software engineer at a company called Dick's Sporting Goods. MH08 says, this is only my second live chat with freeCodeCamp. I learned stuff. Thank you for doing it. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for watching. Sergey has to go. See you later, Sergey. Thanks for watching. All right. All right. I got through all the questions. I think if I missed your question, please put it in the comments below on this video. I'm gonna wrap things up now and go hang out with the kids for a little bit. If you liked the video, please join us again for another live stream. I'm gonna try to do this maybe Saturday. Maybe I'll try to do another stream. And check out my YouTube channel. The link's in the description. I just put out a new video yesterday, and I got another one coming out tomorrow. Tutorial on documentation for JavaScript and another tutorial on TypeScript. And feel free to follow me on social media. Links are in the description. You can ask me whatever you want, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Coding related stuff is probably the best. You could certainly ask me whatever you want, but I don't know how helpful I'll be in other areas of life. But anyway, thanks so much for everyone's help, all the nice questions in the chat, in the live chat. I'm getting really excited about this project. I can't wait to release it to the App Store, and that's going to be the goal for this weekend is actually get it submitted to the Google Play Store, and this will actually be my first app that I'm submitting to the store. So that'll be exciting, and I'm excited to actually do it live for everybody to see, and hopefully then that'll help you all out if you want to do your own apps. But until then, have a great day. Thank you so much, and stay safe.